something very interesting has been going on ever since The Division 2 came on Steam. For those of you who don't know, the original Division, Division 1, which got released in 2016, was both on Steam and on Uplay. Uplay used to be Ubisoft's own Lancer or whatever you want to call it, then changed name to Ubisoft Connect or whatever they call it, right? When Division 2 was about to be released, the game was also on Steam, but for whatever reason, they took it out of Steam and the game was only purchasable through Uplay/Ubisoft Connect, and I think it was also available on the Epic Games Store. However, now, after 5 years, Ubisoft decided to add Division 2 on Steam. The main reason for that, as a lot of people have been assuming, is that, and this is just speculation, but I also believe that that speculation is correct, is that simply Ubisoft has been struggling for quite some time now. Their games keep on getting delayed. Most notable is, of course, a title called Skull and Bones, or Skull Bones, whatever it is, which has been delayed 7 times at this point, I think. And a lot of games seem to get cancelled. We don't really know which games got cancelled, simply because they cancelled games that they haven't been announced. So we don't really know what they were working on. However, things don't look very good. Now, combine those two factors, that games are getting delayed and cancelled, with the fact that Ubisoft hasn't published any huge game the last couple of years, and you get a stock price that keeps on dropping again and again and again and again. So if we take a look, Ubisoft stock price right now sits at 19.21 euros, which is the lowest it has ever been since 2015. And the peak of the stock price was in 2018 at 100 euros, right? So to go from 100 euros per stock to 19.21, I'm assuming it doesn't sit very well with the shareholders. So adding their games to Steam is an easy way to generate some sort of revenue, right? And I think that it's working, because if we go at steamdb.info, we see some stats about the Division 2, the player base of Division 2 on Steam. Keep in mind that these stats do not include players who have purchased the game the past 5 years on Ubisoft Connect or Epic Games or whatever, and of course it doesn't include the console players. But as we can see, the game was added to the store on the 12th of January, 9 days ago, and it has a peak of 9.1k players with a daily average player base from 7 to 8,000 players. Now, those obviously are not huge numbers, but if I'm being honest, are much higher than I was originally expecting, because the game is 5 years old and because most people who wanted to buy the game would have already purchased it. At least that was what I was thinking. I was expecting to see some numbers somewhere from 4 to 5k players. However, that's not the case. Keep in mind that these numbers do not represent the total sales on Steam. Total sales can be much higher, can be 15, 20, 30,000 players that simply don't get to play all at the same time, so they don't show up in these graphs. So I think that adding the game to Steam was somewhat of a successful move, especially if we take into consideration that Year 5 has been confirmed. We have a lot of new content coming our way. The game obviously is not in a perfect state. However, as I have said in the past, and I will keep saying again, the game is in a much better state now than it used to be a year ago. The developers are back, new content is coming, the developers communicate with the player base. The players obviously are not always happy. However, the game improves, and that's very, very important, because a better game will attract more players. It's very important to mention that the game was added on Steam with a huge sale as well. As you can see, you can purchase the base game for 9 euros, and you can purchase the Warlords of New York and the base game for just 18 euros. So that's a big sale. That's a 70% discount over here, right? So they managed to attract a lot of players. However, what I think they didn't take into consideration, or if they did, they obviously didn't think about it too much, was the fact that Steam has reviews. As you can see here, when we go to the reviews, we see that they are mixed. 61 of the 1,953 user reviews for this game are positive. However, what's really, really interesting is that half of the negative reviews here are just mentioning the horrendous crash issues the game has. So let me just go and check. Let's see all the reviews. There we go. Try not to crash challenge, level impossible. My boys' fiscal year was so bad they're gonna throw every Epic and Ubi exclusive game back on here, of course without any Steam features. That's also another big complaint that I saw in a lot of reviews, that people are actually very mad because there aren't any Steam achievements or whatever. I don't really care about that. The fuck is wrong with you, Ubisoft? If the PC crash problem is a known thing, why the heck are you just neglecting to fix it? Crash. The crashing is a game feature, not a bug. The program, the Division 2.x version 1.0.0.0 stopped interacting with Windows. Crash. This game crashes more often than Warzone, and that says something. When it runs, it looks and plays amazing. Sadly, my first 3 words barely last for half an hour. Made it an hour without a crash. Now I cannot make it 10 minutes without a crash. Buyer beware. So people saying the game crashes a lot, and I thought they were being haters. The game crashes way too much. Sometimes you can go a couple of hours without crashing, but then crash every 20 minutes. Refunded due to constant crashes. This game crashes more than my life. Still crashing to desktop. I believe that my machine could be an exception to the numerous crashing issues. This guy thought that the crashing issues was because people had crappy PCs. Tonight, as I wanted to play again, I got crashed. I tried 5 to 6 times to play and always got crashed. Buyer beware, you're in for a scare. PC version crashes within 20 minutes. I think that that's enough. More crashes than Formula 1. Like, you get the point. Crash. Crash simulator. The game keeps crashing. Like, you get the point. I don't need to go through all of the reviews. But obviously, what they didn't really think about, or maybe the developers said, you know what, if we actually add this to Steam, we're gonna get seated on by the reviews simply because their game is gonna keep on crashing forever, and the executives just didn't care and released it. Anyways, we don't know what happened behind the scenes, but this is not a good look, because Steam is not like Ubisoft Connect, where you cannot see the reviews, where there aren't any reviews. And if you want to get an opinion about the game you're thinking about purchasing, you have to do a bunch of research, you have to watch videos, you have to search on forums, blah, blah, blah. You go to the store page, you click on whatever game might interest you, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and boom, mixed. Are you going to purchase it? Or are you gonna go to the next game that has your attention and also has better reviews, right? So you get the point. Now, even though I agree with the complaints and I think that the crashes should have been fixed months ago, and it's a big reason as to why I don't play the game anymore unless I wanna play the new content, unless I wanna put a build together. I'm not playing Division 2 anymore unless I have something I want to do in particular. And the reason for that is that I just can't be bothered with having to crash 3 and 4 times before the game just stops crashing, right? So I think that this is just another case where we see a very, very bad management decision or executive decision being made by Ubisoft, where they decide to release a game on Steam, which I think, I don't have any stats, I'm not certain about what I'm about to say, but I think it's a good guess. Steam has one of the biggest communities. Like, I'm fairly certain that Steam is the #1 launcher or store or whatever you want to call it on PC. I don't think Origin or Ubisoft Connect or Epic Games or any other launcher/store can even get close to Steam's numbers. So it's really a pity that they added Division 2 on Steam, and instead of waiting a couple of weeks or months until the crashes are fixed in order to make sure that the reviews are not like 58% or 59% positive, but they are 70 or 75% positive. So I think it's a very, very bad decision to force the game to rush the game to the Steam store before you can fix the crashes. Because if those crashes weren't an issue anymore, I guarantee you this 61% of positive reviews could have been all the way up to 70 to 75. And even though the sales and the new players are obviously a breath of fresh air and it's something very, very good for the game and the player base of the game, that would have happened anyways if you released it on Steam like 2 months down the road and you made sure that the crashes were fixed. The same people would have bought the game, but then you wouldn't have all these negative reviews. So yeah, I don't know. There are also some people that for whatever reason, they're very, very angry that it took them like 5 years to release it on Steam and they don't like it that they released it now. I don't get it. I mean, some people in the Division community actually has some of the most pissed and mad gamers I've ever seen in my life. Like the amount of angry comments below my videos that have nothing to do with what I'm talking about or the build that I'm showcasing. They're just sitting on the game for no reason whatsoever, right? Or the amount of hatred towards the developers and Ubisoft and Massive on Reddit and on other forums, on Twitter, on Facebook groups and things like that. I've never seen so many people be angry with the game for no apparent reason. Like, I'm not talking about the people who are actually pissed because the game crashes. I get that, right? I'm talking about the people that are angry because the game is like 5 years old and it's dead and they don't add any evidence to their arguments. They don't add any arguments whatsoever. They're just like, the game is dead. It's a piece of shit. Why do people still playing it? Oh, Ubisoft wants to take your money. They added it to Steam now after 5 years. Oh, blah, blah, blah. Like, why are you so pissed? Like, if you don't like the game, just don't play. You know what I mean? So yeah, the community already had some very, very angry people. And now those people have the chance to go and talk shit on the reviews. So it makes things even worse, right? So I don't know. It's just very interesting to me. It really is. So yeah. That's it pretty much, guys, for today's video. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure to leave a comment with your thoughts. If you enjoy the content and you want to support the channel, please make sure to drop a like and subscribe. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Bye bye.